3 years ago, already in June, I was so grateful to come down and be there. Well, naturally, I ran out to the treehouse, and the tree that was close to that window remained an inch and a half away from that window. It grew out and became larger in its girth outside of that window. So, I mean, the tree was feeling the window 100%. So, sentient beings, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you feel that energy, and I feel that energy, and I kind of wonder, like, what am I weird, or is this just so clear? And it's clear. And the more you
Clear.
hang around them, the more you realize that that's what you're feeling. It's a sentient being.
Welcome to the Enchanted Earth Podcast, where you will hear stories of nature with the power to transform our lives. So listen in as my guest today shares one of their own.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And did you know that this podcast was inspired by my book, The Enchanted Earth? Well, there are links below so you can get your own copy. And let's start the show. Today we have with us Pete Nelson. Let me tell you a little bit about Pete. He fell in love with tree houses as a child, and today has created hundreds of tree houses around the world with his design and build firm, Nelson Treehouse and Supply. Pete has also published 6 books on the art and science of treehouse building and is the star of the hit Animal Planet television series Treehouse Masters. So welcome back, Pete.
Well, thank you, Maureen. It's nice to be back.
It is about, I've realized, probably about 4, maybe even going on 5 years since we had our first conversation, and you so gracefully and beautifully shared some stories for my book, The Enchanted Earth. And then probably about 2 years ago when I started this podcast, you also agreed to come on and share another story. So I am just so grateful that you are on here again today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are welcome. It's a pleasure. Love to talk about tree houses. Are you kidding me? I can talk about tree houses till I'm blue in the face. I mean, seriously. Careful what we wish for here, everybody.
That's right. That's right. I mean, tree houses are so magical. I feel like the presence in nature is so calming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can remember those first experiences where you realize that it came at a young age. My dad and I, he was a forestry major and loved being in nature. And boy, from my earliest memories, we would go out for walks up in New York State. We lived in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, and there was a beautiful park, huge park, Bear Mountain State Park and Harriman State Park, just north of the New Jersey border. And we would walk through those beautiful places, and I would just witness my dad just sort of melt into that calm, right? And not that he wasn't a very high-strung guy or anything, but the fact is that I would just notice, even as a 6 or 8-year-old, how it made him feel, and in turn, you couldn't help but feel that for yourself too. Just the magic of how nature just melts away stress. And now I know that it's absolutely certain that it does that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it just, you're sharing that story about your father just reminds me of what Rachel Carson spoke about, as every child needs an adult, basically, to kind of take them by the hand and really connect them to nature. She said so in so many words, but I think it's so true. I mean, we take such a signal from the adults around us when we're children, and they really do have such a big influence on how we experience life, right?
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. More than I ever could have imagined. I'd always been sort of a nature over nurture person. I mean, I just feel like, okay, in the evidence that I see, it's like, well, if you're a nervous person, and I bite my fingernails on stressful movies, and it's just one of these things that it feels like that's something that you're given if you're kind of have anxiety, and versus your parents aren't giving you that, probably. I don't know. And I always thought, well, maybe that's what rules. But the older I get, the more I realize the influence that your parents have on you or your teachers have on you is far greater than I had given it credit for. I mean, it really is that thought of my dad taking me through the woods. What a huge influence that's been on my life. We were backpacking in the late 60s. I was born in 1962, and we, as a family, it was the thing to do. According to my dad, always sort of on the front edge of some trends. If it was skiing, again, a great way to experience nature, or backpacking in the summer. We would have a few families that we would get up in the Green Mountains of Vermont, the long trail, and we would all head into the woods together. And it was such transformative stuff. I backpack still. I go into the high Sierras, which is my favorite place to go, where seeking solitude mainly, but those vistas, those beautiful vistas of our incredible part of the world out there, and the calming effect of all that, just that puts you in your place, really.
Yeah, it does. It does. There's so many questions I have, but one, I just want to explore this, and then we can cut out this whole segment if we need to. But
Sure.
just wanted to explore this question. When you talk about childhood memories being out in nature, do you recall your earliest memory as a child? Your very earliest memory?
Some of these memories, it's because I pride myself on remembering things from when I was really, really young, and now they become more like a photograph that I might see, a black and white photograph, and I go, oh gosh, yeah. The other day, for instance, this is quite a story, but I was 3 years old when we moved from Toms River, New Jersey, kind of down by Atlantic City, to northern New Jersey, and we lived on a little bit of a farm. It was a little farmhouse that didn't have much land with it, but we had a babysitter, and I'm driving. There's a picture of me on a tire swing, and I've got this bandage on my knee, and it's kind of it's one of the pictures that shows up more and more. And right now on Instagram, everybody's showing pictures of themselves as children, but they run these companies, or they do this or they're that, and it's a trend happening on, I guess it's a TikTok or an Instagram thing. And so we pulled these pictures out of our archives, and it was that one. I'm on a tire swing with this big bandage and bloodied up knee. And I do remember, this is about as early as I can say, I was driving along, the babysitter was driving before seatbelts were a big thing, and I was fiddling around with the car door, and I opened up the car door, and it pulled me out. I was so small that it just pulled me right out onto the road. I'm hanging on with my right hand, dragging with my knee all bandaged up onto the asphalt. I mean, probably not plenty of time. I can't imagine what my mom thought after coming home and seeing the bloodied knee and the fact that I had ejected from the car. But,
Wow. Okay. I
remember it. I remember the door handle and everything.
Okay, so you have a picture of you with the bloody knee. If you could send that to me, I'd love to put that in.
I will. I can do it easily. Yeah.
But oh my gosh, so that's so I think foreshadows your energy. It's like, oh, what's this? Let me try this. Let's see where this goes.
Knucklehead. Yeah.
We are curious.
Yeah. All right. Good. Yeah.
Oh wow, that is precious. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So funny. I have a picture of myself digging in mud. Yeah, and I got the biggest smile on my face. And that's not the earliest memory, but I just love that picture too. It just kind of shows my essence, I think. That is so sweet. So what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
So it's such an interesting time. I mean, this business of building tree houses, it's also, it fluctuates, of course. The building business is tough right now. We're in the Northwest, and this area is known for all of its good tech jobs, and there's a lot of layoffs happening around here. And so there's uncertainty in a big way. And so that affects all the building, the property, and people remodeling their houses, happening less. New construction. I've always been in love with architecture and what's happening in the world of single family construction more than anything. I mean, it's exciting to see cities grow, and Seattle's been growing the whole time. I guess almost 40 years I've lived here, I've watched Seattle transform into a real city. It's changed rapidly in this last few years, that where we were just booming nonstop, and the wealth that's created around all those tech jobs is, it's floated a lot of our treehouse business. Honestly, it's so expensive to live here, and I am in an enviable position of building my daughter Emily, who turned 36 yesterday, a house. I'm just completely enveloped in that right now, along with kind of guiding the treehouse building side of things. I'm shocked. Before I was full-time treehouse builder, I had a home building company. I would build single family homes one at a time, and it's just so crazy expensive now. With comparing what I was doing 20 years ago, everybody's just kind of jumped up their prices. The costs of all that now are so prohibitive that now there's a lot of land available. Like the people that bought their property want to just maybe, okay, unattainable now. So things are on the market, things are slow. And so in the treehouse world, we're very fortunate to have one client in particular. We're doing a lot more of the hospitality stuff, and this will be work for some years ahead. And that's such a savior for us from the standpoint of what's happening in the rest of the economy. That that typical market for us is kind of the high end, one-off custom treehouse. And while we've got some of those projects, this job has been sustaining us through what was a really hard winter. Oh my gosh, cold beyond belief in Wisconsin. But so thankful because it's good work. I mean, the creation of these little places in nature are so important, and we're so grateful we can do the work.
Oh, that is awesome. I think so many people really appreciate, I mean, who doesn't appreciate a tree house? Everybody wants to check that out, and to get to
Yeah.
stay in one is just magical. Well, for all you listeners who are like, oh, I want to check out some of those custom tree houses, go to Animal Planet and watch some of the episodes of Treehouse Masters. It's so much fun. And your crew, every one of them has such personalities. And of course, you.
Yeah.
You're the ringleader there, so it is really such a joy, and that is how I really connected with your work. So
Oh,
hope
that's
to come
nice.
to Treehouse Point one day. So we'll see.
Oh, that's such a pretty place.
Yeah.
That's a quintessential Northwest forest. It's kind of a rainforest. We're only about 25 miles east of Seattle. It's still so green and
Wow.
mossy, and the raging river comes right by the tree houses, and it's often just more of a brook. But on the other hand, when the rains hit, it rages. It's called the raging river for a reason, it turns out. But just quintessential Northwest forest, and then these cute little tree houses. They're very simple. They're really just kind of romantic refuges that you can be literally up in the trees and experience it from that perspective. It's quite remarkable and different in that peaceful, I want to say, when we think about how we feel in nature, that place, Treehouse Point, is that we don't have televisions in the room. In fact, I hate to admit the Wi-Fi is maybe even a little spotty out there, but you're sort of put in nature to just be.
Yeah. 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 It is. It is. Really, I mean, tree houses connect us to our childhood and the little
Hmm.
forts that we've created. And I know we talked about that in a couple of conversations already, but it brings out the play. And actually, now more than ever, we need to play.
Well, this is such a difficult time, and right now, I mean, I didn't imagine it could get worse than it's been in the last few weeks, even. And I don't know, the answer that I seem to fall back to is to just go, well, surround yourself with those you love, your family. It's such a lovely thing to go back into your family, your community, and try not to worry about those things you can't control, right? These things that are just so overwhelming. And I'm just so surprised. I've been a kind of a naive person, it feels like, my entire life. I thought when in 1975, at the end of the Vietnam War, I thought, well, that's the end of war. I thought that the Civil Rights Act that's the end of racism. Well, then it all just turned to this, and I'm surprised. And that's the part there I feel like so naive. I mean, why am I surprised? It's amazing to me. I'm 63 years old, and I remember so clearly the bicentennial in 1976. I'm 13 years old, and I am rah, rah, America, here we go. We are on the rise, and we're just going to be a loving, kind, benevolent place, that shining city on the hill. And the more you look into our history, the more you realize we behaved like this from the beginning. And there it is, the naive piece. So as I work with this and deal with this, I just feel like the only thing I can do is love those close to me, my friends, my family, my community, and just, yeah, I'll scroll through those headlines. It's just like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, nature, how can we, that's a place to go, uh, backpacking as I do, and I still love, got one planned for this coming August that I'm excited to go I've got two actually, my family, and then a group of guys that I every couple 3 years we get out together. But that's basically where I go to feel better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I do think we have to have hope. We have to have
Hmm.
love in our hearts.
Hmm.
And like you said, be with our loved ones and enjoy what we have and be grateful for what we
Yeah,
have. And and really not forget that wonder and awe of childhood.
yeah, yeah. That's great. The wonder and awe. It's still available. It's still there. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
when you think about it, I've lately I've been enjoying the idea that, wait a minute, let's think about the chances of us being here in the first place. Uh, I mean, that is amazing. And then
Yeah.
I'm looking, okay, so you can do this with anything at any moment of I'm looking at you over this little device that I carry around with me, this incredibly cool. Yes, we've got issues. I keep looking at it every 3 seconds to see if there's some message or whatever. There's an addiction issue here with our little phones. But on the other hand, wait a minute. I'm seeing you, Maureen, just so clearly, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing hearing you and looking at you and what? This is happening. I mean, I've got my little music player here that I carry around with me that gives me the most beautiful music. It just comes out so clearly, and I hook it onto my belt loop, and I get to walk around with this technology that allows this vibration, if that's what it is, the music that I love. And I mean, this moment in time, this very moment is awesome, incredible. I mean, what are the chances? It's extraordinary. And boy, I can get bogged down in the stuff that we are doing as a country and just get depressed, and it's awful. But hold on, here we are in this moment with the power to think about how really remarkable it is and how lucky we are to experience it.
Yeah.
I've always thought this is heaven. I mean, I was, I got out of the church the first chance I got to say, sorry, I've got other things I want to do on Sunday, when we were in 7th grade after confirmation at this Presbyterian place we were. I was like gone. But yeah, this heaven that we are in right now is so incredible, so beautiful. And oh man, the people that we share our time with, that I'm being a little more careful about those people too, by the way, because man, you can choose
Yeah.
those. You can choose.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. We have to be very careful with who we surround ourselves with for sure. I mean, they can
Hmm.
really pull us down
Hmm.
if we're
Hmm.
not careful.
Hmm.
Yes, definitely. So before we started recording, you were just sharing about a treehouse conference
Yeah. Yeah.
and about the kind of the excitement around it. And I'm wondering if is some people are realizing I've got to connect with something that really makes me light up,
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
that brings me joy. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many options out there, and with the way we're connected now, you can find that what those might be. And in our case, the Treehouse Conference, we've been putting it on every year since 1997. We missed a few in the COVID shutdown, but
Oh,
it's been
wait,
an.
you organize it?
I do not. It's
Oh,
Michael Garnier has a place in Southern Oregon. It's called the letter N, About Treehouse Resort, and it was his way of kind of honestly kicking up some business in the after the summer crush in way Southern Oregon. So we would do this and still do right around that first week of October. Well, last year we brought it for the first time up to the Seattle area, actually about an hour, a little over an hour from downtown Seattle, on the Key Peninsula out by Gig Harbor, a little south of town. Waterfront old camp. It was an old
mm,
Christian camp that was recently purchased by a guy that we actually built a treehouse for, 2007, I want to say, something like that. Anyway, this wonderful guy that sort of pulled this camp out of bankruptcy and now is renting to all kinds of organizations. But the Treehouse Conference was held there this year, and it was really a smash hit. We had over 100 people. I don't know, I'm sure you know of her, but Julia Butterfly Hill.
yes.
famous for the tree sit in Northern California in Luna, the redwood. She was in the Luna for just about 2 years, a little over 2 years. Anyway, she was our keynote speaker and was phenomenal, phenomenal. Yeah, we had all kinds of wonderful things. I mean, we do this. These are people that are finding us. They're people that are kind of the core group, and there's about 20, 25 of us that go every year. And then the rest are those who are interested in investigating how one might go about planning and building a treehouse. Maybe some of them looking for treehouse contractors too, but it's really a weekend full of sort of, okay, here's the engineer talking about treehouse engineering. Here's the arborist talking about the physiology of the tree and how the tree is responding to that hardware, and some technical stuff, some stories of wins, fun projects that went well, and that some of the builders would love to just show us all, and of course some losses maybe where we want to talk about the things that aren't working. As a little nascent industry, this treehouse world, we're very cooperative. It's really a remarkable thing. It sort of was born this way, where none of our hardware is patented, for instance. We all kind of together developed this, and we had an engineer on board that was helping us find out what stuff seems to be working best, and together as a little community, we developed the hardware itself that we use to connect to the trees. And so this kind of spirit of cooperation is throughout this little industry. We all the different treehouse building companies show up, and we're all talking about this stuff, and I think that's really unique.
So is it US pretty much?
They come from, we had Christopher Richter from Munich there this year. Often Takayoshi from Japan comes. There's, as it turns out, treehouses are in all the cultures around the globe, and a lot of dreamers like myself that want to be building forts their whole life.
Oh, I love it. It was just so joyful. I did see some photos that were posted on Instagram from your business, and it just looked like such a fun group of people, and just really having a good time.
There's a Charlie Spitzak. He was on the Treehouse Masters show a lot, and he spearheads a creative build your miniature treehouse during the weekend, and he brings all kinds of materials and tools, and so you show up, and people bring their kids, and then it's really remarkable, because in the end, at the end of the weekend, we judge all these creations, and there are like dozens and dozens of really remarkable projects that people have just worked hard at the whole weekend. I mean, into the night. People are in there, they've got their headlamps on, and they're cutting and sawing and banging together these things, and so creative and so fun. And that's just a neat kind of unifying part of the whole weekend. And
fun. It's like future recruits.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, because in fact, a lot of that, there is a good network of great carpenters in there too. And the way these jobs tend to work is that, okay, so we've got something coming up in July. Do you think you might be able to come here, Mark or Jim? And that's a networking, really neat way to network with some of the great carpenters that show up.
Oh, fun. Now, as you were sharing about this conference, it just reminded me of another conversation I had with a gentleman in Scotland on my podcast. And he is part of a, I guess it's nature artist conference that they do once a year. And they're down in like a beach area with forests, and they create these beautiful like art pieces.
Like mandala type things.
Exactly, like with leaves or with rocks or stacking stones in the forest, on the beach. Just incredible stories. I don't know, for some reason I'm like connecting these two conferences together, because
the artist Andrew Goldsworthy that has made all that so famous with his incredible work. And I understand there's a new one. Something came across my screen recently where he's been working for years on something that might be soon to be revealed. I'm so excited, because I hadn't heard from him in a long time, and it turns out he's been working away just as you might imagine he has, and he's in his 70s now, but still going strong. And I look forward to seeing the sort of creations that he's got going on.
I saw some of his pieces at the museum in Edinburgh.
Oh, really?
They had a
Okay.
number of his pieces on display there, and that was really
Wow.
fascinating.
Edinburgh,
But
that's a neat city.
Lawrence Winram was my guest. So I'll put a link down for anyone who wants to see that, because it was just so much fun to talk about the
Fun.
land art. Yeah. But yeah, I for some reason in my mind, I'm connecting these two conferences, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, can't they? I
Well,
don't
it
know.
is like, well, tree houses, I've always felt like tree houses are more, they're functional sculpture in the end,
Yeah.
because the trees are so beautiful. And I'm looking at the cover of your book behind you, and they're just, they, they're so beautiful in their own right. Like when you try to put a place where you can actually inhabit it in there, it just seems like, ooh, that's a tall order. You so much want to do that, but you want the tree to be the center of attention, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's often a tough thing to balance, but so they become more sculptural, and yet you want it to be conditioned, warm, dry. Even nowadays
Yeah.
with all the mini splits that we call those little, air conditioning is an option. You can just put one of those little units in there that's got the condenser, these things that are just so easy to install now and have all the creature comforts of home. I mean, you can put running water in the treehouse quite easily, as it turns out. If you want a little bathroom, if you want a little air conditioning, say all of a sudden, like in Seattle, a couple Junes ago, it was 106 degrees. Like, are you kidding me? What's going on in this world? So if you really want to think about it, these things that you desire, why not? Why not make them comfortable?
Yes. But hey, I would love just 4 walls and a roof
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
floor
yeah.
and windows.
Yeah, windows, lots of windows, lots of windows. That's all you really
Oh,
need. That's all you need.
yeah.
But it is amazing, the technology and the advances we've made in so many fronts. And yeah, but in the end, I think you're right. You just need a place to sit and contemplate and look out and see all this beauty that surrounds us.
And like you do say this quite often on the show, it's like a new perspective, because
Mhm.
you're raised off the floor, you're in the tree canopy, and you're viewing from this new perspective. I mean, there's something magical about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a
No, there's no
bird's
doubt.
eye view,
Uh-huh.
right?
And so many times I also feel like I'm being hugged. There's a embrace when you're up in that canopy. I mean, you can see it in your book cover too. You get up in those limbs, and then all of a sudden, all those branches that are got their leaves trying to get that sunlight, they're just fully enveloping you, and you just feel safe and protected. And you're also in the shade, and it's nice when it's
Yeah.
hot out. And
Yeah, the
mhm,
yin versus the yang. Of course, I use those words
mhm,
with my work in feng shui, but
mhm,
there's more to it. I mean, I know we talked before, more to it than the physicalness of the tree, but the presence of
mhm,
trees
mhm,
is so, I think many people can feel that, the presence of a tree.
mhm.
They
Yes, it's a sentient being. It really, and we went to, just 2 nights ago, Michael Pollan, the author,
Oh, yeah.
came through Seattle, and I was so lucky to go see his new book
Yes.
is about the nature of consciousness. And we were talking about this very thing, and I was thinking about trees, that a sentient being is something that has feeling, I guess. And you could argue that trees absolutely are sentient, and whether it's got a consciousness, I mean, it's all up for debate. It turns out that in the end, when you really are looking into what is consciousness, nobody knows. I mean, there's 22 theories that Michael Pollan thinks hold water, and 270 otherwise. And and the idea that these trees maybe feel things, to me, seems completely natural. Like, I have an example. In 1998, we went down to Morgan Hill, California, a little south of San Jose, and kind of crept up into a little drainage going back towards the coast. And we were so lucky to find we call them a fairy ring of redwoods. So maybe the original redwood went down, and then in a circle around the original were these other younger, you know, less grand redwoods that were still nonetheless 2 and 3 feet in diameter. And we
Wow.
pushed this treehouse in there, really fun project. And when there was one spot where one of the redwood trees was about 1.5 inches off of a window. I mean, it was just right there in early days of building. And we thought, well, let's see what happens. The tree is tight to that window. The redwoods, they might grow 3/4 of an inch in a year, just fatness. And when it
Wow.
when it comes up to this window, worst case scenario is it's going to push against the window shatters. Oh, we got a problem. I mean, what's going to happen? We don't know, but well, 3 years ago, already in June, Leo, client passed, and we had a memorial down there, and I was so grateful to come down and be there. Well, naturally, I ran out to the treehouse, and the tree that was close to that window remained 1.5 inches away from that window. It grew out and became larger in its girth outside of that window. So, I mean, the tree was feeling the window 100%. So, sentient beings, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you feel that energy, and I feel that energy, and I kind of wonder, like, am I weird, or is this just so clear? And it's clear. And the more you
Clear.
hang around them, the more you realize that that's what you're feeling. It's a sentient being.
Well, what's so weird is that we've been brainwashed to think that they're just a physical, resource.
Right. A resource.
We've
Yeah.
just been brainwashed.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I know in my book you shared a beautiful story of the redwoods too,
Oh, right.
and really magical.
Yes.
So magical. If
Yes.
anyone would like to read that, it's right here in the book.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those redwoods, all of it. I mean, I had another last August. So right in my backyard in Fall City is, again, in the kind of the foothills of the Cascades, and you climb up the pass I-90 that goes all the way to Boston. The first pass to the east is about 30 minutes away, and it's just these mountains they're so rugged, and they're so full of trees that, as I was saying earlier, I go down to the Sierra so I can see, right? Like, when you're up hiking in the Cascades, it's often just a narrow path through the trees, and that can be lovely and everything. But I love the payoff of being up high and looking out over the vistas and seeing all the granite of the high Sierras and the beauty of it all. But I finally was like, come on, I mean, this is right here. I could take a backpack. And I finally, last August, went up to Myrtle Lake and was stunned by the same thing that I was worried about, of just not being able to see. Instead, it's like you can't see the forest through the trees. Well, these trees are so incredible in their own right and so beautiful in their own right. And I was finding myself going, well, wait a minute, look at this beautiful stuff right here. And it had turned out, God, I was so lucky, because the previous November, there was a huge windstorm here, just like boom, knocked the trees down everywhere. And same up in the mountains, these massive trees that were just down tragically in a way, but also so naturally. And I was finding myself lost in the magic of the woods themselves, and not the payoff wasn't necessarily there for those big vistas, but wow, the power of nature and the wind events that might do what this had done. And yeah, it's just, it's neat to know that right up in our backyard here, I've got a new area that I think I have a newfound respect for, and just want to go up and spend more time there now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. And I live on Long Island, so there's pockets of places that I stumble across and go, oh, wow. I can actually feel like I'm not in the suburbs. Pete, I know the hour is just about up, and I just want to say I am so grateful that you were here. I would love to see if there's any last words you would like to share.
Well, one thing I'm looking at, which is fun, is I'm obviously a big advocate of getting people into nature in the form of tree houses. And I'm finding that I think a lot of people are having difficulty putting the dots together as far as the permitting process. And maybe they get overwhelmed. It's a scary thing to imagine that, oh geez, this tree house I have in mind, it could be problematic from the standpoint of a building department or something. And especially if you're doing something that's got a little bit of that. These aren't the kids' tree houses I'm talking about. This is the ones that you're going to see on the Animal Planet show, or a little more robust, I guess you would say, a little more of an investment in both time and money. And what I think the missing part is that building departments will allow this. I essentially want to give permission for people to do this and follow their dream into the trees and make the plan happen. I mean, it does seem like such a fantasy in so many ways, the idea that you might be able to have a space like this, but if you're lucky enough to have a piece of property and some trees that make sense, the next step is to really get it done, do it. And I think that aspect of getting permission from your planning department is so overwhelming, and it might just kill the dream before it even really takes flight. So I would urge people to reconsider that and to say, you know what, it is doable. The plan, all of the, the International Building Code, which has been adopted by all the municipalities around this country, allows for experimentation. They allow for this very thing to happen. You just have to maybe highlight it to them, because in the end, a structural engineer these days, and I'm so grateful that all this work has been done over the past 30 years, that these days any good structural engineer can look into this and find that, oh yeah, that hardware that we were describing really can take 6 to 26,000 pounds per connection, right? So do the math, get the stamp, show the people, and that is the building department officials, and you'll get a permit. And with that, your dreams can really take flight and happen. So that would be my message, is that don't let that stuff get you down. It's not easy, but nothing's really easy that's worth anything. So if you've really got this hope, this dream, then you can do it. You really can, and it can be official even.
Yeah. And asking for permission from the trees too.
I love that. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a great point. Yeah. That's always a
'cause
fun little ritual.
Yeah, and there are some trees that will really, really welcome it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really
100%.
welcome it. Yeah, just the joy and the love. Trees do, not all trees, but
Right.
but
You're
in
exactly
general,
right.
trees do love that. They love that communion with others. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Maureen. Anytime.
Oh, all right. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I would love for you to comment below on what came up for you. I will respond to those comments, and maybe Pete will too. Not sure if he has time,
Sure.
though.
Sure.
And
Sure.
please share and subscribe. So have an enchanted day, everybody. Thank you. Oh, thank you for being a part of the Enchanted Earth podcast. Please hit the subscribe button so that you'll know when we publish another inspiring episode. Check out my book, The Enchanted Earth, available wherever online books are sold. Thank you and have a magical day.